Yo, what's up? It's really hard to get bored these days. I mean, if I have some free time, or honestly, if there's any window of time where I have to live with my own thoughts, I'll instantly suppress them by switching to TikTok, YouTube, or Netflix. But what would you do if you had no internet? Or pretty much anything except for corn and tractors? Such was the dilemma of the average child from the American Midwest in the 1920s. I mean, according to Google, the most exciting thing happening in the Midwest in the 1920s was the rise of the Ku Klux Klan. But as you can imagine, the weekly cross-burning must have been pretty boring after the first couple weeks. So they had to find their own fun. And they did because of one Alvin Shipwreck Kelly, who got his nickname because he survived 5 shipwrecks, 2 airplane accidents, 3 automobile accidents, and a train wreck. Which at some point, it has to start being his fault. But anyway, one day, either because of a dare or just a publicity stunt, Alvin decided to sit on top of a telephone pole where he sat for 13 hours. And then every Midwesterner boy had a new hobby. So the whole fad was that these little kids would climb up these telephone poles, and then they would just sit up there as long as they could. The kid would have runners that would provide him with food and water while he sat up there he just sat up there. If you think this sounds like a rather boring sport, keep in mind that these kids really didn't have much to do. I mean, here's a picture of one William Rupert, who, as you can tell from the black tar of presumably shit and piss, has been up there for quite a while. 23 days to be exact. Although that's far from the world record of 439 days and 11 hours from Alabama resident H. David Werder. Now you might be wondering why. Why would someone spend like a significant percentage of their life sitting up on a telephone pole? Maybe he just wanted to say he beat the world record? Well, no. Or maybe he just really enjoyed pole sitting? Oh, okay, not that pole. Anyway, no, that wasn't the reason. No, David decided to sit up there for over a year in protest of gas prices. Although my personal theory is that he was just trying to get away from Alabama. Alright, so it's 1960s America. Pointy bras are all the rage. Everyone's listening to the Beatles. And generally, people are having a great time. Unless you were black. Or JFK. Anyway, another thing everybody loved during this time was getting high. You had acid, weed, whatever else. All these drugs are illegal, and at the time the law did not play with drug charges. But that was until the American youth found out about bananadyne. So the idea was that you would dry out a banana peel and smoke it, and then you would get super high. Now don't start hang drying all your banana peels, because this doesn't actually do anything to get you high, or really anything in general. And bananadyne isn't even like a real substance, they just made that up. But this just goes to show that we as a society should make weed legal. Because if not, kids are just going to be doing the next best thing, which usually means smoking whatever is smokable, or boofing pills up their ass. Alright, this next one is the reason I decided to make this whole video in the first place. So, in the 1550s, the Dutch were introduced to the tulip. Now, to the untrained eye, a tulip is nothing more than just a flower, or something you use to make a dye in Minecraft. But if you're a 16th century Dutchman, not only would a tulip bulb be the most valuable thing you've ever seen, you'd probably cut off an arm, a leg, just to say you own a tulip. So, over the course of 80 years, let me say that again. 80 years, tulip bulbs were one of the most expensive luxury items being traded in the Dutch economy. Which, okay, the Dutch are, they're pretty irrelevant these days, right? But back in the day, they were literally one of the biggest economies. I mean, I think I understand why they're not the biggest economy anymore. But yeah, for 80 years straight, people would literally trade acres of land, entire companies, all for a tulip bulb. Eventually, people started drawing up contracts, which would represent trading the tulip, which means people were trading things for these contracts with absolutely no backing to them, since the tulip wasn't even actually there. Which is ridiculous. That's like if people today traded absolutely worthless virtual coins that had absolutely no backing behind them. I mean, that's... what the fuck? That's so out there, right? I lost all my money on Dogecoin, guys. It's not a joke. And for 80 years, everybody in this fucking country continued partaking in whatever the hell this was. Because this isn't like economics anymore. But yeah, everyone kept on doing this until one day, in February of 1637, one Dutchman was like, wait a minute, I don't know about this whole tulip thing. And within the month, entire banks were wiped out, entire family funds were literally vanished, and people lost livelihoods over this. But this begs the question, what could a tulip actually buy you if you were around during the peak of tulip mania? So for one tulip bulb, you could get your hands on a lot of wheat and rye, 4 ox, 8 pigs, 12 sheeps, all of which are morbidly obese, which is a good thing, a hogshead of wine, which, probably a lot. That probably means a lot. 4 tons of beer, 2 more tons of butter, and 1,000 pounds of cheese. That was just the food. We're not done yet. An entire bed, a suit of clothes, and a silver drinking cup, all for a flower. And finally, in my personal opinion, the weirdest fad of all time, the ornamental hermit. So the French and the English elite wanted a unique way to decorate all the land that they owned, and so came the ornamental hermit. Basically, rich people paid some homeless old guy to live on their land. And aside from providing the rich people with advice and his guests with some entertainment, all this hermit had to do was sit there. And yeah, that was it. Sounds like a pretty easy life until you consider the fact that these hermits were forbidden from ever leaving their part of the garden and going into real civilization. And if they were ever seen anywhere outside of the garden, they would be immediately fired. So basically, these old guys were forced to live in isolation and were all probably going insane because of no human contact, which is like the last person I would want to take advice from. Hey, hear ye, guys. Listen up, guys. This guy, my little hermit guy here, he's a riot, okay? This guy's great, all right? Come out, man. Come out. Come on. Tell us something, man. You should all kill yourselves. Oh my god, I love that guy. I love that guy. And those were some of the dumbest fads throughout history. So I hope you enjoyed. Please consider liking and subscribing. Check out my live streams. I'm going live on the channel every week. And yeah, man, have a great day. Goodbye.